Chapter 4. Motor and Engineering Insurance. Motor Insurance. 1. For purpose of insurance, motor vehicles are classified into three broad categories. A. Private cars. B. Motorcycles and motor scooters. C. Commercial vehicles, further classified into I. Goods carrying vehicles. Public-private carriers E. Passenger, hire, reward carrying vehicles e.g. motorized rickshaws. Taxis. Buses. E. Miscellaneous and special types of vehicles, e.g. hearses. Ambulances. Cinema film recording and publicity vans. Mobile dispensaries. Mobile canteen vehicles, etc. Types of policies. 2. Two types of policies are provided in the motor tariff. A. Liability-only policy. This covers third-party liability for bodily injury and/or death and damage to property damage. Personal accident cover for owner-driver is also included. The cover is designed to satisfy the requirements of the Motor Vehicles Act, 1939 as amended in 1988. The insurance of third-party liability arising out of the use of motor vehicles in public places is made compulsory, under the Motor Vehicles Act. 3. The liabilities which require compulsory insurance are as follows. A. Any liability incurred by the insured in respect of death or bodily injury of any person, including owner of the goods or his authorized representative carried in the carriage. B. Liability incurred in respect of damage to any property of a third party. C. Liability incurred in respect of death or bodily injury of any passenger of a public service vehicle. D. Liability arising under Workmen's Compensation Act, 1923 in respect of death or bodily injury of I. Paid driver of the vehicle. E. Conductor, or ticket examiner public service vehicles E. Workers, carried in a goods vehicle. A. Liability in respect of death or bodily injury of passengers who are carried for hire or reward or by reason of or in pursuance of contract of employment. The policy of insurance should cover the liability incurred in respect of any one accident as follows. A. In respect of death of or bodily injury to any person. The amount of liability incurred. Without limit. B. In respect of damage to any property of third party. A limit of 6,000 rupees per. 4. The liability in respect of death of or bodily injury to any passenger of a public service vehicle in a public place, is the amount of liability incurred. Without limit. 5. Section 140 of the Motor Vehicles Act 1988 provides for liability of the owner of the motor vehicle to pay compensation in certain cases, on the principle of no fault. The amount of compensation, so payable, is 50,000 rupees per for death, and 25,000 rupees per for permanent disablement of any person resulting from an accident arising out of the use of the motor vehicle. Note, the principle of no fault means the claimant need not prove negligence on the part of the motorist. Liability is automatic. The policy covers liability on no fault basis as well as fault or negligence basis. B. Package policy. This covers loss or damage to the vehicle insured in addition to liability under or above. 6. Under Section 1 of this policy, cover is provided in respect of loss or damage to the vehicle insured and or its accessories whilst thereon by A. Fire, explosion, self-ignition or lightning. B. Burglary, housebreaking or theft. C. Riot and strike. D. Earthquake, fire and shock damage. A. Flood, typhoon, hurricane, storm, tempest, inundation, cyclone, hailstorm, frost. F. Accidental external means. G. Malicious act. H. Terrorist activity. I. Transit by road, rail, inland waterway, lift, elevator or air. J. Landslide, rockslide. Subject to a deduction for depreciation at the following rates. Rubber, nylon, plastic parts, tires, tubes, batteries and airbags 50%, fiberglass components 30%, glass parts nil. Other parts including wooden parts as per schedule prescribed in the tariff. The rates of depreciation vary according to the age of the vehicle ranging from 6 months to 10 years and over. Section 1A. Consequential loss, depreciation, wear and tear, mechanical or electrical breakdown. B. Damage to tires and tubes unless the vehicle is damaged at the same time but liability limited to 50% of cost of replacement. C. When vehicle is driven under the influence of liquor or drugs. 7. The insured's declared value (IDV) is deemed to be the sum insured and is to be fixed at the commencement of each policy period. The IDV of the vehicle, and accessories if any fitted to the vehicle, is to be fixed on the basis of the manufacturer's listed selling price of the brand and model at the commencement of insurance renewal and adjusted for depreciation as per schedule prescribed in the tariff. The rates of depreciation vary according to the age of the vehicle, ranging from 5%, 6 months to 50%, 5 years. These rates apply to the total loss claims only. 8. Section 2 covers liability to third parties as under policy form for above. 9. Section 3 covers personal accident cover for owner-driver in respect of bodily injury, death caused by accident in direct connection with the vehicle insured, as per scale of compensation incorporated in the policy. The maximum capital sum insured is 1 lakh rupees for two-wheelers and 2 lakh rupees for other vehicles. General exclusions. A. Accident outside the geographical area. B. Used not in accordance with limitations as to use clause. C. Driving without valid license. D. War and nuclear risks. Restricted covers. 10. Policies may be issued to cover liability only with fire and/or theft risks only. 3 types of cover are available: liability only with fire, liability only with theft, liability only with fire and theft. Motor trade policies. 11. 2 types of policies are designed for the requirements of motor trade. A. Motor trade package policy covers accidental loss or damage occurring during the period of insurance while the vehicle is in a public place or is temporarily garaged during the course of a journey elsewhere than in or on the premises owned or occupied by the insured. The risks covered as under other policies. Section I. Section 2 covers liability to third parties and Section 3 extends insurance under Section I and II to any vehicle, mechanically propelled or otherwise, attached to the insured vehicle for the purpose of being towed. B. Motor trade internal risks. The policy covers damage to any insured vehicle, including its accessories while thereon, the property of the insured or any member of the insured's family or household caused by accidental, external and visible means and occurring in or on the premises. Section I. Section 2 covers legal liability in respect of A. Accidental death of or bodily injury to any person other than employees' family members. B. Accidental damage to I. Any insured vehicle, including its accessories while thereon, held in trust by or in the custody of the insured. E. Other property not owned or held in trust or in the custody of the insured occurring in or about the premises through the negligence of the insured or any person in his service or through any defect in the premises or in the ways, works, machinery or plant therein. Engineering insurance. 12. The different types of engineering policies have many common features in terms of basic coverage, exclusions, fixing of sum insured, basis of indemnification, excess clause, claims procedure, extensions of the policy, general conditions, etc. 13. For a better understanding of the scope of engineering insurance, the engineering policies may be classified as follows. Construction or project phase policies. Contractors all risks CAR. Erection all risks EAR. Marine cum erection MCE. The subject matter of CAR policies is civil engineering works and of EAR policies plant and machinery during erection. Both policies provide cover on all risks basis, subject to exclusions which are common to both. The other common features of these two policies relate to basis of fixing the sum insured, basis of indemnification, excess clause, supplementary covers e.g. damage to surrounding property, third-party liability, debris clearance, etc. Operational phase policies. Machinery breakdown boiler and pressure vessels. Contractors plant and machinery CPM. Electronic equipment. Deterioration of stock. Consequential loss policies. Machinery loss of profits MLOP. Advance loss of profits ALOP. A brief outline of each of the above policies is provided. Contractors all risks CAR. Policy. 14. This policy is designed to protect the interests of contractors and principals in respect of civil engineering projects, like buildings, bridges, tunnels, etc. The policy provides an all-risk cover. Every risk is covered which is not specifically excluded. This means that almost any sudden and unforeseen loss or damage occurring during the period of insurance to the property insured on the construction site is indemnified. The more important causes of losses indemnifiable under CAR insurance are fire, lightning, explosion, flood, inundation, windstorm of any kind, earthquake, landslide, subsidence, etc., theft and burglary, accidental damage, bad workmanship, lack of skill, negligence, malicious acts or human error, collapse, impact, etc. 15. The policy can be extended to cover third-party liability and other exposures. 16. Sum insured is required by the policy to be equal to the estimated completely erected value of the contract works inclusive of materials, wages, construction costs, freight, customs duties and items supplied by the principal. If, in the event of loss, it is found that the sum insured is less than the amount required to be insured, which is likely to occur as a result of increase in the cost of materials and wages, the insurers will apply average to the extent of underinsurance. 17. Cover commences from the commencement of work or after the unloading of the property insured at the site, whichever is earlier. The cover expires when the completed part thereof is taken over or put into service or on the date specified in the policy, whichever is earlier. Erection All Risks EAR Policy. 18. Whereas contractors' all-risk policy is concerned with contracts involving civil engineering works such as construction of buildings, bridges etc., the Erection All Risks Policy EAR, also known as Storage cum Erection SCE, policy is concerned with erection of electrical plant and machinery and equipment and structures involving no or very little civil engineering work. The cover is the same as under CAR policy. Third-party liability and other covers may be added. 19. The sum insured shall be the completely erected value of the property inclusive of freight etc., and the costs of erection. Average is applied if there is underinsurance and the insured has to declare changes in the sum insured due to market fluctuations in wages or prices. 20. The insurance commences only from the time after the loading of the property specified in the schedule from any conveyance at the site specified in the schedule and shall continue until immediately after the first test operation or test loading is concluded, whichever is earlier, but in no case beyond 4 weeks from the day on which, after completion of erection, a trial running is made and or readiness for work is declared by the erector's contractors, whichever is earlier. Exclusions CAR and EAR policies. A. The amount of loss shown is excess. B. Loss discovered at the time of inventory. C. Normal wear and tear, rusting, etc. D. The cost of correction of any error during construction unless resulting in physical damage. A. Files, drawings, currency, checks, etc. F. Packing materials such as cases, etc. G. Penalties on account of the insured's non-fulfillment of terms of delivery or completion under his contract of construction. H. Loss or damage due to faulty design. I. Cost of repair or replacement of defective material and or workmanship. J. Vehicles licensed for general road use, or waterborne vessels or equipment mounted on such vessels. CAR plus EAR policy. 21. Neither the CAR policy nor the EAR policy alone can meet the insurance requirements of special projects in which both the civil engineering work and machinery installation work are significant components of the project. For example, a hydroelectric project involves a. Civil works like construction of dam, various tunnels etc. and b. Machinery installation, testing and commissioning work in respect of water turbines, electric generator, etc. In such situations, a combined policy, CAR and EAR, known as Contracts Works Policy, is issued. Machinery cum Erection MCE policy. 22. Cover under a standard EAR policy commences with delivery of the first consignment of plant and machinery at the site of erection. This would mean a separate marine transit policy for imported equipments and inland transit policy for indigenous equipment, both up to the project site. 23. Under a composite marine cum erection policy, cover starts from the moment the equipments leave the manufacturer's warehouse within the country or overseas and continues during the voyage to the port of entry, unloading at the port of entry, inland transit to the site of erection including incidental storage and thereafter during erection, testing and commissioning. The marine cover is against all risks of physical loss or damage is provided by the marine policy with the Institute cargo clauses all risks attached. 24. War, strikes, riot and civil commotion are additional perils which can be covered, but war risk additional cover is available only for the ocean voyage and not during land transit. 25. This policy provides continuous and uninterrupted cover and eliminates many problems which may arise if marine insurance is arranged separately. For example, under a purely separate marine policy, cover expires after 60 days of arrival of the vessel at the port of entry or delivery at site, whichever is earlier. 26. Further, if proper mode of transport is not available, equipment may have to be stored in warehouse and separate fire burglary insurance may have to be arranged. The MCE policy solves these problems. Machinery breakdown policy. 27. Insurable property under the policy are boilers, electrical, mechanical and lifting equipment. The policy covers unforeseen and sudden physical damage by any cause subject to accepted risks to the insured property. While it is at work or at rest. While being dismantled for cleaning or overhauling. During cleaning or overhauling operations. When being shifted within the premises. During subsequent erection. Sum insured is the current replacement value. Exclusions. A. Fire and allied perils and explosion can be covered under a fire policy. B. Overload. C. Wear and tear etc. Contractors plant and machinery CPM. Policy. 28. Contractor, plant and machinery can be insured under CAR/EAR policy as an additional item, if the sum insured under these items is relatively small as compared to the total sum insured of CAR/EAR project, say 5%, subject to a maximum of say, 25 lakh rupees. 29. If the sum insured exceeds this figure, an annual policy can be granted to a contractor who may be using his plant and machinery at different projects during the course of the year. 30. The standard contractor's plant and machinery policy covers unforeseen and sudden physical loss or damage from any cause including burglary, theft, riot and strike and malicious damage, fire and lightning, external explosion, earthquake, flood, inundation, subsidence, landslide and rockslide, storm, tempest, hurricane, typhoon and tornado. Accidental damage while at work due to faulty handling, dropping or falling, collapse, collision and impact. 31. The cover is operative whilst the equipment is at work or at rest or being dismantled for cleaning or overhauling or reassembling thereafter. The cover also applies while the same are lying at contractor's own premises. The various locations have to be advised to the insurers. Exclusions. A. Due to electrical or mechanical breakdown or internal explosions. B. Resulting from experiments or overload or similar test. C. To vehicles licensed for general road use. D. Due to total or partial immersion in tidal water. A. During transit from one project site to another. F. Whilst working underground. G. Of any kind of consequential loss. Boiler and pressure plant policy. 32. The policy covers boilers and pressure vessels, against A. Damage, other than by fire, to the boilers and/or other pressure plant and to surrounding property of the insured, as specified in the schedule of the policy, and B. Legal liability of the insured on account of bodily injury, fatal and/or non-fatal, to the person, or damage to the property, of third parties, caused by explosion or collapse of any boiler and/or pressure plant occurring in the course of ordinary working. The sum insured should be the current replacement value. Exclusions. A. Fire and allied perils can be covered under fire policy. B. Chemical explosion. Machinery loss of profits MLOP policy. 33. Whereas the machinery insurance at the boiler and pressure vessel insurance policies indemnifies an insured against material damage resulting from breakdown and/or explosion, collapse respectively, such damage may also result in business interruption at the insured's premises. In the event of breakdown of or accident to a vital part of manufacturing plant, the actual damages to the machinery could be small but the loss sustained through inability to manufacture might be heavy. 34. Not only would the manufacturer 1 be unable to make the profit which he had hitherto been making, but 2. There would also be several continuing expenses to meet although the business was no longer earning the money to pay them. Such continuing expenses are referred to as standing charges. In addition, an effort to reduce the degree of interruption of the business, the manufacturer may adopt alternative measures, but at increased costs. 35. These losses are covered under Machinery Loss of Profits Policy (MLOP). It is a condition of the MLOP policy that a claim must first be admitted under the Concurrent Material Damage Policy (IA) Machinery and/or Boiler Policy before a claim becomes admissible under the Machinery Loss Policy. 36. The policy is subject to a time excess or exclusion of 7/14 days depending upon the type of industry. Thus, the indemnity period commences after the expiry of the time exclusion immediately after the occurrence of the accident. Note: MLOP policy generally follows the pattern of fire consequential loss policy. Advance loss of profits ALOP policy. 37. This is also known as delay in startup policy DSU policy. The policy covers financial consequences of a project being delayed because of accidental damage to the project materials. It follows in principle the characteristics of an annual consequential loss insurance (MLOP) policy, but is issued in advance of the actual commencement of business. 38. The object of an ALOP insurance is to indemnify the principal or the project owner for the actual loss sustained due to delay in commencement of commercial operations of a new project under installation construction. This delay must be caused by direct physical loss or damage admissible under the Material Damage Year insurance covering the contract works. This is a highly specialized type of policy which is drafted specifically in each case. Deterioration of stock policy. 39. The policy known as deterioration of stock insurance or stock spoilage insurance is a form of consequential loss cover granted in the engineering branch for stocks contained in large cold stores. The cover is against the risk of deterioration, putrefaction, and contamination following breakdown of the refrigeration plant and machinery, a claim for which is admissible in terms of the concurrent machinery breakdown policy. Exclusions: fire, lightning, extinguishing of fire or subsequent dismantling, chemical explosion, theft, collapse of building, subsidence, landslide, water which escapes from water-containing apparatus, flood, inundation, storm, tempest, earthquake, and other acts of God perils. Cover for these perils may be obtained in the fire or miscellaneous insurances. Consequential loss, damage or liability due to or arising from the deterioration, putrefaction or contamination of the goods, e.g., claim for loss or market, etc. Or third-party claims for poisoning as a result of eating contaminated goods. 40. It is customary to have two different forms of policy. One in respect of stocks of fish, prawns, frog legs and other types of seafoods, fruits, cheese, provisions and other dairy products, etc., and the other form of policy is exclusively meant for the contents of potato cold storage. Basic cover is the same in both cases with some differences. Electronic equipment policy. 41. The term electronic equipment includes the entire computer system consisting of CPU, keyboards, monitors, printers, UPS, system software etc. Auxiliary equipment such as air conditioning, heating and power conversion, etc. are also covered. 42. Some examples of electronic equipment are electronic data processing (EDP) equipments, electromedical equipment, equipment of research and material testing, telecommunication and navigational equipment, computer system for production plant and machinery, signal and transmitting units etc. etc. The policy is available to the owner, lessor or hirer, depending upon the responsibility or liability in each case. The policy is divided into three sections. Equipment, Section 1. 43. The cover applies to any unforeseen and sudden physical loss or damage from any causes, other than those specifically excluded, in a manner necessitating repair or replacement. 44. The cover available under the Material Damage Section 1 is virtually on all risks basis, i.e., loss or damage from any accidental cause whilst located at the specified premises. The cover includes electrical and mechanical breakdown of the insured items except loss or damage for which makers are responsible under their contract, impact, damage caused by water, malicious damage and also carelessness, theft and burglary. In addition, the policy covers fire and other allied perils like lightning, riot and strike, storm, tempest, flood, subsidence, landslide, earthquake etc. Note: dish antenna, portable equipment like laptop computer and sonography etc. are excluded from the scope of cover under this policy. As in most other classes of engineering insurance, the sum insured should represent the current new replacement value of the insured equipment, including all the installation costs and custom dues. Underinsurance is penalized by pro rata average. A maintenance contract with the computer makers is warranted in the policy. Some examples of exclusions: A. The excess stated in the schedule. B. Caused by any faults or defects existing at the time of commencement of the insurance. C. Caused by failure or interruption of any gas, water or electricity supply. D. Loss or damage due to wear and tear, etc. A. Consequential loss of any kind. External data media, Section 2. 45. The coverage applies if the external data media, specified in the schedule type and quantity inclusive of the information stored, which can be directly processed in EDP systems, suffers material damage by a peril covered under Section 1 of the policy. The coverage applies while the insured data media are kept on the premises. The sum insured shall be the amount required for replacing lost or damaged data media by new material and for reproducing lost information. The special exclusions under this section are: A. Excess. B. Cost from false programming, punching or inadvertent cancelling of information. C. Consequential loss of any kind. Increased cost of working, Section 3. 46. This section indemnifies the insured for additional costs incurred to ensure continued data processing on substitute equipment if such costs are incurred as an unavoidable consequence of loss or damage indemnifiable under material damage section of the policy. The indemnity period, which commences with the putting into use of the substitute equipments, may be up to 12 weeks, 26, 40 or 52 weeks. The excess is specified in terms of days as agreed, e.g. 4 days, 96 hours, 7 days, 168 hours. 47. The indemnity limit per hour has to be declared by the insured. This limit multiplied by the indemnity period is the maximum sum insured per occurrence. The total sum insured shall represent the aggregate limit for all occurrences during the policy period. The company will also reimburse the insured for personnel expenses and costs of transportation of materials subject to separate sum insured. Exclusions: I. Costs incurred during time excess period. E. Costs for replacement of data media. E. Costs arising out of lack of funds causing delay in repair replacement. IV. Other consequential losses, e.g., loss of market.